Student, today we are going to start our English 1 lesson, and that is chapter number 6 on the trial. First of all, I am going to read the lesson. So student, you open page number 82 and you see your book, and as I read you see your lesson so that it will be clear for you in reading the lesson. So let's begin the lesson. On the trial. The word trek was derived from the Dutch verb trekken, which means to pull. It became an English word in the mid 19th century, and it means a long, arduous journey, typically on foot in areas where common means of transport are generally not available. Let us read an account of a trek along one of the many Himalayan routes that are famous for attracting a large number of trekkers. So, the paragraph which is written in red ink, that is I read. Now the main part of the lesson I am going to read. My intentions were good. The day my Nepal journey was confirmed, I started running more regularly. I started climbing stairs too. Though the trek was said to be moderate, I was told that there were some difficult sections. I had 3 months to get in shape, but work and laziness meant that I did not exercise as much as I should have. Now I was standing at the start of the trail to Bhumandi, the site of our first night's camp. I was wondering how good I would be compared to my fellow trekkers. The first section of the trail ascended a stone staircase, and it kept on climbing. The minute we hit a flat section, we would find another set of stairs just around the corner. After less than an hour of climbing, I was breathing hard, sweating profusely, and worrying. But I wasn't alone. The trip had attracted a wide variety of people, ranging from 27 to 73 in age. The levels of fitness and trekking experience also varied. For one of the participants, a lawyer, this was the first time he had ever been camping or hiking. Although a few of the physically fitter trekkers were far ahead of the group, most of us were lagging. One or two people were really struggling. It wasn't by accident that the first part of this trek was only half a day. About midday to camp, our Sherpas greeted us with fresh lemonade and a snack of toast and scrambled eggs. This lifted our spirits and soothed our weary limbs. We congratulated ourselves for having reached so far and encouraged one another to continue up the hill. When we finally crossed over the hill we had climbed, in terms of the height above our starting point, more than 800 meters. We had worked much more than that in terms of kilometers, of course. One of the participants calculated that this was more than 3,000 stairs, but who was counting? For several days, the Annapurna range teased us. We would catch a glimpse of it peeking through the mist, then it would disappear behind a curtain of clouds. Hiking along the trail, it felt as if the background had been hidden. The clouds were like a vast white screen just beyond the edge of the cliff. I wondered when we would be able to view the world's tallest mountain range. With no peaks visible, I started looking around at the surrounding forest. It was surprisingly lush. Thick moss hung from the trees, gigantic ferns grew in layers up the hillside. Rhododendrons towered more than 10 feet above us. Tree growing flowers hid among the branches. Perhaps the mountain gods had purposely hidden those magnificent mountains so that we would better appreciate the forest that surrounded us. We passed no other trekkers for nearly 3 full days, but were greeted by local people living along the trail. Namaste is the traditional greeting, with hands raised in front of the face as if in prayer. It means, roughly, the spirit in me honors the spirit in you so much more than hello. The wake up call every morning was also very polite. First, there would be a slight shuffle outside the tent, then a melodious good morning as I poked my head through the opening. The first morning, it was Surendra, one of our head Sherpas. He offered a steaming pot of sweet, milky tea that smelled of clove and cardamom. Sherpa tea, Didi? He inquired. Didi means older sister, and I had already got used to it in place of my name. The Nepalese tradition of addressing one another as brother or sister, or other terms implying a familial tie, made me feel right at home. I especially liked the way he pronounced it "dd" in a sing-song manner. Breakfast was served outdoors around a large table while the Sherpas packed up our tents and gear. None of us could believe the size of the loads the Sherpas would carry, while I hobbled along the trail in expensive hiking boots. Our porters, carrying up to 35 kilograms of cooking equipment on their backs, walked quickly past me wearing only slippers on their feet. What a welcome sight it was to cross the last hill that evening and find our camp already set up below. Sleeping bags and foam mattresses were numbered, grouped, and laid out along with our personal gear. There were special toilet tents and shower tents. These tents used water that had been heated over the cooking stoves. As a campaign experience, it was cushy. That evening, the group gathered in a large dining tent to share stories of the day's trek. Dinner was plentiful and nutritious. Potatoes and meat with dal bhat, boiled rice, pulses and vegetables. We celebrated a birthday with a handmade cake the Sherpas had baked over the fire. With a full belly, I contentedly went back to my tent, slipped into my sleeping bag, and fell fast asleep. So, student, we ended our lesson reading. Now, this lesson is about a trail, means it is about a trekking, that the climbing of a mountain or climbing of a hill. Now, student, you see, the word trek was derived from the Dutch verb trekken, and you have to understand that the word trek was derived from the Dutch verb trekken, which means to pull. And in the 19th century, it became an English word in the mid of the 19th century. That means a long, arduous journey. And that is not by bus, not by truck, not by car, or not by bike, but typically on foot in areas where common means of transport are generally not available. Means where the means of transport we would not able to find in those places. And with the help of trekking, we have to go on our foot, or we have to climb the mountain, or we have to climb the hill on our foot. So, student, now trekking means what you understand? You understood, I think. Means we have to climb a mountain or hill, not by bus or car, but on our foot. So here in this lesson, it is an account of a trek along one of the many Himalayan routes that are famous for attracting a large number of trekkers. Now here the writer was telling that his intentions were good. And The writer was not confirmed about the Nepal journey, and though it was not confirmed, but before trekking, a trekker used to practice running regularly, or he used to try to climb the hillock or the low hills or mountains, so that while going on a trekking, he would not face any problem. And that is why the writer used to start running regularly. And also, he used to climb the stairs too, so that his joints of his legs will be free, and it will help him to climb the mountain or the hill. Though the trek was said to be moderate, I was told that there were some difficult sections. Means, though somebody might have told that it might be moderate, the trek was moderate, then also the writer had heard that in some section, in some part of the trekking, it is a little bit difficult for climbing. And that is why, what did the writer do? The writer had 3 months to get in shape. Means, to become a good trekker, it took him 3 months. Means, he took the training for 3 months so that he can get in shape. But work and laziness meant that I did not exercise as much as I should have. But because of work and because of his laziness, he could not able to do, or he could not able to take exercise as much as he should have to take. So, student, I think that from the first paragraph, it is clear that before climbing or before going on a trekking, we should have to practice well, so that it will be easy for us to climb the mountain. Otherwise, we'll feel tired very soon. Now you see next paragraph, that is in the page number 83. Now I was standing at the start of the trail to Bhumdi. Now the writer was ready, and he was standing at the beginning of the trail, beginning of the route, that is to Bhumdi, the site of our first night camp. And from that place they could able to see the site of their first night's camp. And he was wondering how good I would be compared to my fellow trekkers. And there were many trekkers, and therefore he was not feeling boring, or he was not afraid, because he was happy, because he might follow the other trekkers, because he would compare himself to his other fellow trekkers. The first section of the trail ascended as stone staircase. Now, beginning of the trail, they have to ascend, means they have to climb up a stone staircase, and it kept on climbing, and they have to Ascend means they have to, from low to high, they have to go on and they have to climb a stone staircase. And it kept on climbing. The minute we hit a flat section, we would find another set of stairs just around the corner. And after minute we hit a flat section, we would find another set of stairs, and another set of stairs they will find, and that is just around the corner. After less than an hour of climbing, I was breathing hard. And here, because we have already got that they ascended a stone staircases, and after trekking less than an hour, or after climbing less than an hour, the writer was breathing hard and he was sweating in large quantity and worrying, and he was thinking also, but I wasn't alone. And he was thinking also that he could climb, or he could able to do the trekking or not. But at the same time, he was not feeling afraid, because he was thinking that other trekkers were also there and he might follow them, or if others could climb on, then he also would try. And that was his positive view. So student, which are left, I'll explain on the next class. Thank you.